cyberspace and IP. So we have to connect cyber law into intellectual property rights. So let us initially understand the importance of technology. Now we have understood, see, every new invention in the field of technology experience threats. So why cyber law? Why do we say something called a cyber crime? Let it be interaction, okay? We all know it's fine. Interact, or if you have any questions, or if you have any doubts, or if you have any queries about any topics, please stop me at a time and ask me a question. And just before I start properly, I just have to take an excuse with you all. I have an urgent call at 10:30. Okay, you all have to excuse me for 10-15 minutes. I'll just take a small break because we thought it will be scheduled to evening, but the court has told me to be present, so I have to be present there. So we'll be video conferencing. So just give me a break from 10:30 to 10:45 or 10 minutes, okay? One excuse, because generally I don't do it, but it is courts we have to follow, okay? Yeah, again, when I said court in IP, where do I represent generally? What does IP courts mean? Because I want to connect to yourself, okay? Let us all understand. IP courts local alone. Do we have, for example, a trademark application another file ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, can I go to normal Mangalore City Civil Court or Puttur City Civil Court and file it? Yes or no? No. No is the correct answer. But where should I file it? Let us understand this concept, okay? Because there are lots of your seniors who experienced the IP importance last year, and now they are practicing. Now they are practicing means now they are doing their internship cum service. So some of them are doing it in IP. Very soon they will be representing. I will be taking them for representation. But yeah, I am happy that they have taken this charge. Similarly, I want to tell you all, take up IP field. If you are not so interested also, this is a field where you can collect lots of knowledge, and there are very few people who are practicing IP. Okay, very proudly I say, in total Mangalore and Udupi, right, there are only 3 members who practice IP. So we have lots of cases, and with case comes lots of checks. Okay, so similarly, you all are interested in IP. I know it's a subject for you. So start thinking this as a profession. Okay, yesterday we had a meet with some of your seniors. They also were telling us, how can I start practicing IP? So one simple humble suggestion is, they all are very good, but think about IP. We generally don't think it, correct? We generally don't think IP as a career. What we generally do is generally go as practice or get married. These are general customs what we have followed. But think IP as a culture. I have generally told you, this is a very good field, and understand the basics of it. That's why I started with the basics. If you want to represent IP, right, you represent IP in your jurisdiction. Generally, if any case happens here, your jurisdiction is local, right? Any IP case, your jurisdiction is Chennai. Okay? So I will be always telling I have to go to Chennai. Again, tomorrow I am flying to Chennai. So going to Chennai means it is IP tribunal. All over in India, you just have 4 IP tribunals. Now it is 5. Okay? For South India, the jurisdiction for IP is Chennai. Okay? Let understand this. And for North India, there is one more IP office at Mumbai. There is another IP office at Delhi. There is one more at Kolkata. Okay? Now there is a very recent addition of IP office which is in Gujarat. So now in India we have 5 jurisdictions for IP. So anyone willing to file any applications will be only under these 5 jurisdictions. Got my point? So I am just connecting you to practicality. Here we speak something else now when it comes to cyberspace. So this is just a basic introduction of cyber law to say that. Again, there is a confusion why cyber law in IPR, but yes, since it is syllabus, we have to study that. And yes, I will try to connect it very much. Okay. Do you feel IP and cyber law are interrelated? Let us have interactions. IPR, but the cyber law, can it be interrelated anywhere? Connect agutta? Okay, one simple example. You all have in this pandemic shop, online shopping antu ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ. Okay, is IP connected with you and online shopping? No, I don't get answer. I'll make it still simple. Okay, are you in the cyberspace? when you are in your mobile sending a message to someone in WhatsApp. Are you in cyberspace? Yes? You are in cyberspace? Now one small question. How you are in cyberspace? Can you tell me how you are in cyberspace? Yeah, we all understand. When I take a mobile and just send a message to someone, we are in cyberspace. And this, yeah. That won't be visible, I think, should be on the light. Okay, now we can, but later. I'll just have a small introduction. Then I'll just go for a call, then start this practical. Okay, so yeah, we have. So how are we in cyberspace, friends? When we are yesterday we just came to know, right? For the first time, we generally update our status, but yesterday WhatsApp only updated WhatsApp status, right? Was it really necessary for them to do that? Why? This is very important for you all to understand. If you all are using WhatsApp, let us understand that why it was important for WhatsApp to update their status yesterday. Generally, we update our status. Happy birthday, Chunu, etc. But why did WhatsApp update their status? It is called that there is one more update which is coming very soon to us on February. If you are not accepting that update, WhatsApp will be deleted from your mobile. You have heard this news? Yes?
But they have new
Yeah?
But they have new that
It was really yesterday. They had to terminate yesterday, but it's a short notice. So IP Intellectual Board, IPAB extended it. In India we know that we again can file for an adjournment extension. We are Indians. Okay. So yes, why was it necessary? Or do you know that which is the recent amendment or application coming into WhatsApp which says that your app will be deleted? No idea about it. Okay. Simple. If you have a WhatsApp group, okay, there is a status quo right now which says that your WhatsApp group can be publicly available in Google. Okay, your WhatsApp group can be publicly available in Google. There are statistics to prove that your numbers have been already leaked. Therefore, just to not repeat one more incident like Facebook Analytica, right? WhatsApp has done this. Okay, now WhatsApp is telling you in a very clear way in their terms that make sure if you are using WhatsApp, your details can be made public. Okay? What and all details? Details like your name, details like your mobile number, details like your chats, but except then encrypted chats. Other than encrypted chats, we say. Now, what is encryption? Have you heard about this word? Encryption, decryption.
End-to-end messages or any documents.
Yeah. You protect yourself and send it to someone else. Simple. Yes. I instead of telling this is Manish Shalen, I just tell this is Manish Shalen and only show it to Suhas. Because Suhas knows it now. I am not telling it like this. I am just showing it, I am encrypting my word and showing it to the person whom I need to show only. Okay? That's why these terms and regulations are set. Now please understand, let it be any stages in your life, when at all you are on your internet, okay, you are automatically in cyberspace. Okay? So please understand, IP and cyberspace is like brothers and sisters. Fine. When you disclose your identity, what happens? Someone sees your identity. What is the possibility there? You have every possibility of your identity being theft. There is something called as identity theft, right? You have heard about this word. So we'll study about all those things today, okay? We'll study about all those things today. Okay, we'll study about all those things. But right now we'll start with cyberspace. Okay? Now in this whole chapter, I think so we can all this right now. You can note down these points because these are our subheadings. Okay? And all these notes are available for you to read in detail. All I have prepared. But right now, okay. Now for us more important is to secure our cyberspace. Now I have told you in very brief introduction that how you are exposed to a cyberspace. Now it is also important to us to know that if we are in the cyberspace, we should make sure that we are having a secure cyberspace, right? We don't want us to be public everywhere. We want our cyberspace to secure. So there are certain statistics, there are certain points to note down. How can we create a better cyberspace? Point number one, by creating a secure cyber ecosystem. Okay, just note down it. I'll explain it in detail. Next, by creating an assurance framework, which we are doing very soon in India. Okay, there is something called as Data Privacy Act coming in India. Might be in 2021 or 22. So we'll be very soon more stricter than Europe. I'll just give you a brief hint because I've anyway started this and I may not tell about Data Privacy Act later. I'll tell you what is Data Privacy Act. If possible, write someone, if there are final year students who have to take up their assignment or take up their dissertation. Okay, if you have this topic, do they have dissertation? If someone has a topic called as dissertation, right, I would love to see someone taking it to a topic called as Data Privacy Act. It is just a bill right now, so very soon it will be an act. Now I'll just not extend myself very much, I'll just conclude my talk in a very small way about Data Privacy Act. Data Privacy Act is very simple. You log into any of the website. If you want to book something from Amazon, you should have your account, right? You should have your account in Amazon. You generally put your mobile number, you have a secure password, you log in, you order something, that order reaches you. Simple. Now what does it happen is automatically, please, I'm hopeful that you all know about it. When you log in with your mobile number, right, or whatever details you enter in Amazon, that is a data given from you to Amazon. And tell you to what extent Amazon can track you also. Fine. Now, aren't you in danger by submitting that data? I'm making you very, like G Boomba said, fearing you right now. There are many apps. There are Swiggy. You all have account. Don't tell me that you don't have account. You have account in WhatsApp, right? Did you submit your mobile number, your name, beautiful photo to WhatsApp? Right? You have submitted, right? Don't you ever feel that you are in danger sometimes? Facebook. We go to nice ice creams, birthday parties are also hosted in Facebook. Okay? Now it's mandatory. It's mandatory that we should do it, or else how do we become famous? Okay? We do it. But do you feel that your identity or your data is at risk? Is it at risk? Have you heard about one scam called as Facebook Analytica? Simple, heard about it? What did it happen? Now I've told in my previous year class also about it. You can go to Facebook and take all the data from the day one which you have published in Facebook right now. You can do that. Facebook has given this option only after the biggest ever scam. Okay? Only after the biggest ever scam. We are not aware about it because we have never felt IP as an important topic itself till later. Okay? I think so that's what in this break time you can just indulge them in something. Or you can just tell them this. Okay? Yeah. So yes, I'm coming back to it. This is a topic where we are dealing with how to create a secure cyberspace. Okay. So we have understood what is cyberspace. We have understood how we are connected with the cyberspace. As I have told you that every moment we are connected to the cyberspace. If your internet is on now, we are connected to cyberspace. So these are the points which says that how can we make our cyberspace secure in aspects of connecting IP with the cyber. So hopefully you have written this, you had ample time to write this. I'll just go to the next one. Yes. Now, how to create a secure cyberspace. I'm telling you these are some words which will be very new to all of us, okay? Again I'm telling you, all these words will be very new to us. So we'll understand it in detail. Then next two chapters are very simple, I can go fast. Here I just, go a little slow. A strong cyber ecosystem has three symbolic structures. First of all, if you want to create a strong cyberspace, it always has three structures within it. Point number one, automation. Have you heard this word? This is all very real word. This looks very hard paper to look at right now, but this is the word which is gradually, which we deal with regularly. Okay. Yes, automation. What is automation? It eases the implementation of advanced security measures, enhances swiftness, and optimizes the decision-making process. How is generally an automation done? Automation is usually done by a third-party tool. Okay, I'm just telling you how we do it practically. let us take one secure system as an example. For all of this, right? For all of these examples, let us take one secure system as an example. Let us understand that we have a system in a bank. Okay, we have a system in a bank. Now, how can we make our server or our system in a bank safe or secure? Point number one, automation. Automation is the automation work. For example, there are many manual works which will create a haphazard of your data getting leaked. So always, how can we create a secure cyber system? By creating a secure ecosystem. First point is by creating automation system within it. Automation system, we all know, maybe when you go to payment systems, there are many systems which has been embedded within the payment systems. UPI, Google Pay, now you will start getting connected. Till now it will be everything like, I'm speaking in front of, upon your head. Now you will get automation system. Instead of going and doing all the details of payment process, you just click to one app called as Google Pay, enter your UPI number, automatically one code comes to your mobile only, right? You accept the payment, you do the transaction, right? That is what automation means. Now, how is automation usually done in the cyberspace? By adding a third party tool. Now, while we say about a third party tool, what IP concept comes into it? It is copyright. It's getting very tough, I think. So we'll still go, friend. I will make you understand it. Just write down this. Point number 2. Interoperability. Okay, yeah. This explanation I'll give you when I tell about the third one. Yes. The third one is authentication. Interoperability and authentication are interrelated. Okay? What does interoperability makes it? Interoperability makes you aware that it is you who is operating the system. Correct? Even if you are operating your mobile, it asks you your password 100 times. It knows it is you, but still it asks you your password. Why it asks you your password or any secure system? To make sure that you authentically, the person who is logging in into the device is an authentic person. Sometimes you feel right when you log into Google, there is one page coming. Just write this code or identify some traffic signals. Why? Because I want to analyze you are a human being, not a robot. Correct? Google says, that is Google mad to say all these things? Google might be there sometimes, but Google always analyzes you. Okay? Your payment is not easy. Today when you do a payment in cyberspace, even if you do a payment tomorrow, it may be to the close, near and dear one. Rather than that also you are checked 10 times. Right? You have been told to provide your authenticity, you have been told to add your card number, you have been told to add your, what to say? The expiry date of the card, you have to turn back, write your CVV. Will your transaction get approved? Still no, there is an OTP coming into your mobile. After you enter your OTP in that column, within that time frame, then only it is considered, oh, this person is a human who is doing this transaction. Correct? These all systems are secured systems. If you ever feel that you are not going to these systems, that is automation, interoperability and authentication, it is as simple, if I have to compare this, you filing your examination fees online, you going to bank, taking a challan, then sending one copy to KSLU, again KSLU approving it, telling that, oh yeah, this person is approved. These are the two different systems. Now which is easier? The second one, right? Automatically the second one, you filing it online. Yes. Are there any hindrances? Yes, that is why we are studying this class. Got my point? Point number 1 is to create a secure cyber system. This is clear, friends? How we do this? Clear, yes or no? Clear? Almost clear, right? So secure cyber system should have 3 ways. Point number 1 we are doing, under point number 1 there are 3 systems. Three points is that it is, one is automation, one is interoperability, then is authentication. What does automation do? Automation eases your work. What does interoperability do? It verifies you again, it toughens your work, telling that yeah, it is me. No, if you forget your password, you are only not allowed to log into your account, you know that. Correct? Facebook, you forget your password. Are you allowed to log into your account? There is 10 security measures which says that go to your email ID, click on this link, click on this link, then go recover your password, rename your password. Why this? Just to create that the atmosphere of cyberspace what we are there is safe. Okay? Why again? Why safe? Because there are lots of people who eat your money just for nothing. You have not done any fault, let it be in normal world. If you do a crime, only you are punished. Here, without doing a crime, just by sitting here in a class, your account might get. Correct? That is why we should ensure that we have a safe system. I'll go to the. Now there are types of attacks. What happens? Now I have told you about the first point, that is creating a safe system. You understood about 3 points. Still we have lots of types, okay, of attacks which generally happens to us in the cyberspace. Not generally coming and hitting one another, but this is more vigorous or more harmful than that. Point number 1, attrition. Attrition is a system which is used to damage your server or damage your network. Create a jammer in your network and do whatever you want. The person doesn't come to know, the server itself is jammed. Point number 1. Next, malware. It's not a type of sweet, it is a type of malicious software. It can be one small virus embedded to your system. Okay? Sometimes you might adjust, I'll make you understand this very clearly. You all would have faced this. When you are opening a new website, when you are opening a new site, there is one pop-up coming immediately now. Kindly accept the cookies of this website, then you will be allowed to browse. Have you seen this? You press OK without even reading it. Now, I'll just tell you a very simple, first, how can you trust that that website is secure? And it's very difficult. Law says that kindly read their terms. We are not able to read 4 lines in our textbook. Will we read 80 or 90 pages of the terms? Forget, we draft the terms, we know it. Okay? It's very simple, friends. I tell you what you have to do. First, before you link or if at all any pages of cookies comes into it, don't click OK. Just as a law student, go to the terms of that cookies, click it. Okay? See for 2 points. One is data, how your data is handled. Point number 2, how your privacy is handled. Okay? Point number 1, how your data is handled. Point number 2, how your privacy is handled. Every secured website will always say that you have a right to recover your data. Any website which doesn't have this term, see the terminologies might be different. They will not tell it in my English that you have the right to recover your data. No. Okay, but you might have to analyze and understand it. That's why we study interpretation of statutes. Okay, you have to analyze and understand it. Boring subject, but still we study it. We have to do it because that is the subject which matters a lot for us. Okay, so please understand these 2 things. So that pop-up of cookies comes usually. When you accept that cookies in an unauthorized website, what happens? Something called as a malware is automatically embedded to your system, and that malware can read your password, your data, your photos, whatever you are operating at that time. That happens. And automatically you will not come to know your photo is being leaked, your card gets deducted from your balance. If you whatever transaction you do at that time, right, it automatically gets copied into a third-party server, which is the attack server. Got my point? So it is generally authorized to do that. Whenever you get these cookies, what happens? I'll tell you, right? In a very simple system, because my professor made me understand this. In a very simple system. What is this cookies? Cookies is like this here. Okay. What are these cookies? Generally, when you log into some website, right, someone comes to your door, bangs your door and say that, yes, you can come into my house, but there are certain terms which you have to follow in my house. What are the terms? Terms are, you have to be loyal, you should not commit crimes, okay, all these things, right? If you go to any of your friend's house, will they tell you that? It is automatically understood, right? It is automatically understood. So these cookies are that criminal activity, these cookies, right, or these malwares, what we say, are those criminal activities which takes place with the owner's consent. Can you read that? Any malicious software used to interpret normal computer operation and harm information assets without owner consent, and any execution from a removable device can enhance the threat of a malware. Okay? Now let us understand, I'll just give you one small example to more understand this. Let us understand that this is my system. there is someone who has browsed in my system and accepted the cookies without reading the terms, and it is a malicious website and it is a harmful website. Now someone else comes, or ma'am comes, takes a pen drive and copies this slide. Ma'am has not logged into the website at all, but ma'am has taken the pen drive and copied this slide. Before that, someone has, let us understand Suhas. Suhas is my favorite when to all this criminal. That's it. Suhas has done this. Suhas has browsed some website which he should not browse. Okay. Now automatically there is some threat which has happened. Now ma'am doesn't know about it. Ma'am come to my laptop. She just takes the file. Automatically that file embedded to this pen drive. And when you insert that pen drive somewhere else, you will get a pop-up. Have you seen this? Whenever you insert a pen drive, you get a pop-up telling that this pen drive needs to be formatted. Right? Automatically when you do a virus scan, that file gets deleted. Or there is a duplicate file being created. Okay? These are malwares. Now 100% I am telling you, each one of you might have seen this. Right? But we just didn't know the terminology. Right? We didn't know the terminology. What is a malware? Now, the person, there is an unauthorized website which has been come to ma'am's pen drive without her consent, and automatically wherever she uses that pen drive, he or she has an automatic right to recover the data in that pen drive. So whatever I'm speaking, is data so precious for us? Is it really precious for us? Huh? So is it okay to have a malware website or log into a malware website? We generally do it in our mobile also. We log into some website which is unauthorized. We log into a website which government says do not do this. What you can do after that, just a small suggestion, I'll go to the next one. What you can do after that is go to your cache files, delete your cache files. CACHE. Okay? In your mobile there is something called as clean your, there will be some apps given. Don't do it in your app, your mobile is embedded with it. Clean your cache files. CACHE. In laptops it is usually cache files. So generally have a habit of clearing your cache files and clearing your histories always. Delete your histories always. Don't keep your histories. Don't keep automatic passwords. What happens generally for our easiness, we do that. For our Google Pay, we keep automatic password. Only you can sign in, it goes in. Okay? Generally don't do that, because if at all any malware attack has happened, that password is leaked, that password is public domain. And something in public domain, it's biryani burgers. Okay? So we go to the next point. Hacking. It's very easy. You know, right, what is hacking? Intentionally or unethical hack. What is e-contracts? Have you all signed a e-contract? At least for this I need answer. I have almost shouted. No. Yes. Have you all signed an e-contract? Yes? No? Contract, okay. Contract is a builder and agreement, all this. Have you all signed the e-contract? Yes. Of course, yes. People who don't have Facebook account also have signed e-contracts. One example, where did you sign e-contract? Or how do you sign an e-contract? E-contract ಹೇಗೆ sign ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? E-contract ಅಂದ್ರೆ e-contract ಅಲ್ಲ, electronic contract.
If you are installing any apps in your laptop, usually
let us understand now. I have told you all that. See, this is one important app where you all can retrieve your notes. Okay, the app name is ABC. Go to the Play Store, download that app, and when you download it, when you can download that app, you can only access that app if you submit your details. Like you should create a username, you should create a password, then log in. After you log in, there is one drive where I submitted the notes. You can get all these notes in that. By just doing this, have you signed the e-contract? Yes. Simple. Now, with whom and whom you have signed the e-contract? You have signed with whom? With whom you have signed the e-contract? Okay, let us understand. You installed WhatsApp. You installed WhatsApp, and you know, if just to make your WhatsApp profile active, what you have to do? You have to name, you have to give your mobile number. Okay, that verification happens. Now, by starting the page, hi, I am in WhatsApp, this is my new number, kindly save this number for your reference. Okay, you have done this. Have you signed the e-contract? Yes. Who are the parties in this e-contract? One is you. Party number 2. WhatsApp. Have all the valid considerations of a contract fulfilled here? What are the valid considerations of a contract? I'll go now because when I go to the next slide it will be very easy. What are the valid essential features of a contract? Point number 1. Free consent. Have you given free consent here by installing WhatsApp? Yes. How did you give free consent? Yes, I agree. Or how? How did you give free consent? One small tick mark. If you have to go further, you have clicked it. Who will read it? I have clicked it. I have got. Free consent is there. Next. Have this happened with consideration? Now what is consideration here? Consideration in contract means what? Come on here, you all are contract students. At least for this previous slide I will say you don't speak. Now you should speak. What do you mean by consideration?
Exchange of value or money.
Exchange of value or money. Did WhatsApp take money from you? No. But you have still done consideration. What is that consideration? Very simple friends, it's called as legal consideration. Okay? You have given legal consideration to WhatsApp to get installed. Got it? So it's a very simple example. We'll go to the detailness of it. E-contracts are those types of contracts which does not need the real essentials of contract. Person being present one-on-one to sign a contract. Not needed. You have a digital signature, anywhere in the world I can sign a contract. These are e-contracts, okay? So we will emphasize these e-contracts. I have just given some pictures to understand. You hire a cab, you sign an e-contract. Bus, air ticket, all are e-contracts. Okay? What is electronic contracts? Electronic contracts are born out of the need for speed, suitable and efficiency. Is not the actual thing what we have. The next one. The whole contract can be completed in seconds, correct? It can be completed in seconds. With both parties simply attaching their digital signature and electronic copy of the contract. Are you signing yourself while you install WhatsApp? What does people say? They don't sign. They just put a affirmation. Now, how does that affirmation mean your signature? How is that verification done? Your mobile number, OTP, correct? For your mobile number, you would have given a document to certify where you would have signed it, or you would have a digital signature to certify it. So automatically that means that by agreeing to the legal consideration, you have signed the e-contract. There are other contracts where your digital contract, digital signature needs to be affixed. I will give you that examples also. Okay? Just go further. Yes. Essentials of an e-contract. I have just given you one example here. Okay. First thing is, what is an essential of a contract? An offer is to be made. Now, comparing it to electronic contract, when is an offer made? When you just let us understand that you have, again, Amazon. Amazon is my favorite. I have a Prime account. Okay. Yeah. So you are logged into Amazon. You are just browse things which you want. Is the offer made? You just have browsed things. You would have wanted some items to be purchased from Amazon. You would have just searched that items. Okay? Is the offer made? No. When the offer is made, you select your items, put it in the cart. Okay? That is called as an offer made in an e-contract. I am just giving you examples to make you understand here. Okay? Only when you put it that item in cart. Cart means that, oh, from 100 I have preferred this one. Correct? From 100 I have preferred this one for myself or for anyone else. Okay, but that is where an offer is made. Point number 2. The offer needs to be acknowledged. I will go to the other types of agreement, okay? But I am just giving you a brief example to make it understand. The offer needs to be acknowledged. Who needs to acknowledge the offer? The person to whom I have made the offer. may it be the parent or the third party associated with that parent. Parent is Amazon, third party is the person who is actually selling that product. Correct? So this is where your offer gets acknowledged. Point number 2, when your offer gets acknowledged. Or when it comes to your website forms or online agreement, when you select the option called as I agree terms. Next one, there has to be a legal consideration. In WhatsApp I have told you one legal consideration, but here when you pay online, there has to be an intention to create lawful relation. The parties must be able to contract. They should not be people who cannot enter into a contract. Next, there must be free and unaffected consent. Again, we have told you when you click the terms accept, you automatically accept the consent. Your consent is being given. The object of contract needs to be lawful, very important. Okay? Someone says that by signing this contract, you install your app, tomorrow I will land you to moon. Can that be legal contract? Can that be lawful contract? So the objectives of the contract you have to know. Okay? It should be lawful contract, or the objective should be those, you having your account in a unsolicited app, in an app which is being banned, right? That will not be a contract, because okay, you are having a PUBG account right now. Are you having a valid contract?
No.
Why?
It's been banned.
It's been banned by the government. Simple. Okay? So, just by signing an e-contract, your contract doesn't become legible or a valid contract. You shall also make sure that those contracts which you are signing shall be with the person who is allowed to sign. Okay? That is more important. So here I also say that any site selling pornography and all you cannot. There must be a conviction and possibility of performance. Someone assuring you unreasonable. Okay, you install this app, follow this, you become slim in 3 days. Okay, or you lose your weight. If that was the thing, I was the first person to install that app. Okay. So it's very important for you to understand that there must be a conviction and possibility of performance when you enter into e-contract. Conviction and possibility of performance. You will not have it in others. Okay, please understand these points. So whenever it comes e-contract, kindly write this also, and you will have your own definition to write what is an electronic contract. Okay. I'll go to the next slide. Written right, 8 points. Okay. Types of electronic contract. I have not explained, I will explain myself here. Employment contracts. There are many agencies which undertakes employment contract. Again, when I am taking this, kindly have it in your mind, it is an e-contract. Okay? No regular paperwork are there. Employment contract. Employment contracts are those contracts where some employment agency signs yourself to some other companies, right? You might have been, there are many employment agencies. So one kind of e-contract is employment contracts. The other is consultant agreements. Let us understand, okay, I just give you an example. Let us take an example of a company, okay? Let us take an example of a company which produces, give me one example. I will add everything into it. Okay? Okay, which produces textbooks. Okay? Now, employment contracts. Employment contracts are those contracts which that company has signed with any HR agencies to supply them employees or give them employees, give them labors in any way. Okay? So, these are that contracts which has been signed by them. So, all the liabilities is with them. Next, when it comes to consultant agreements, what are consultants? Consultants are those part-time people who the employees engage. Might be the payroll person or anyone like that, okay? Or any agencies. Third one, contractor agreements. Okay, these are also one kind of electronic. Sale, resale and distributor agreements. Very important. need someone to supply that. Okay, that is the moment where you add a distributor agreement or the sale and resale. NDA. It's called as non-disclosure agreement. Should every company have a NDA? Have you heard about NDA? NDA you have not heard? Non-disclosure agreement. Now please understand, it is mandated to every company to have an NDA because you would get some information. Let us understand you work in RBI. You would get some information of that bank which you are not allowed to disclose. If you are not binded by a contract, you will disclose. Okay? So those are NDAs are that contract which is being signed by that person who is getting employed or he's been associated with that company in any other way just to keep the information secret. Got my things? So let people who have not heard about NDA understand this. NDA means non-disclosure agreement. The word itself means you shall not disclose the entity of that. Which is, now disclosure are of two types. One is which is there in public domain. Two, which is secret. Now some companies will have some trade secrets. KFC has a trade secret, you know that? If you want to prepare a fried chicken of KFC, you can't do it. You might do it, but exact taste of KFC will not, because all the ingredients are disclosed except one, which is not named only, that is called a secret ingredient. So every person who works in KFC, in the kitchen of KFC, who prepares this, has to sign an NDA saying that this ingredient which I know shall not be disclosed to anyone. If it gets disclosed, you have a criminal sanctions on you. Similarly, every company has, even we do have. Okay, I give presentations to all my employees who come, tell that these are the secret information, never disclose it. If you disclose, then you have to come with me to some courts where we will have actions against you. So NDAs are those. Next, software development and license agreement. Every system has softwares. Okay, there are hundreds of license agreement which we install. Okay, just now I had a call, right? This was regarding to one particular license agreement, where again, see, this is by habit. We are not allowed to tell our clients name. We don't say that. So some names are also NDAs. Okay, so software development and licensing agreements. So you have heard about it again. This is more important. Shrink wrap agreements or contracts. Now this is something I feel so you have heard for first time. Or anyone who have heard it? Shrink wrap agreements. Okay, now I'll give you examples of this. You'll understand. These are such agreements. You might have seen some products. You might have seen some softwares which has a tag written. Once the tag tore, then the product is meant to be sold. Heard about it? Heard about it? There are some documents, there are some softwares, or there are some food items which says that if the tag is broken, don't accept it. Okay? It is the fault of the owner. If you broke the tag, then that means that the product is sold to you. Automatically. Now, how does this agreement get signed? All this agreement is you one and one you sign it. How does shrink wrap agreement get signed? You are a consumer, you get this product, immediately when you open this product, right, your agreement is signed. Now you might have questions. Well, what if the product is defect? What is there is some, I have opened the parcel of Amazon, I ordered a Note 5, but I got a the design of this. The unique design of Canon camera is being patented by that. Okay? Apple design is being patented by them. Now what copyright? Tell me, come on, copyright. Trademark is simplest ever. What copyright? How you can copyright a camera? What feature of the camera can you copyright?
Shut up,
The camera makes a function of not. So
Yeah.
those code has to be imprecise.
Exactly. Coming into the source codes. Okay. So keep it in mind. You have all the criteria. See, always have this exercise. Okay. If you are thinking IT as your career, but I'm just telling you, even we were very poor. Even we were very poor when we started our career. Or when I was a student, I never analyzed this. professors or especially sir and all, right? They always told us, I'll give you a product, tell me what and all IP rights can be done in this. Always have this exercise with you. We generally have this. Whenever we point out on exercise, we generally have this. So have this exercise within yourself, especially those people who are thinking of your career in IP. Okay? And again I'm telling you, IP is really a vast field. We don't have people in Karnataka. Unfortunately, we go to Chennai for practice, we see people from Mumbai, we see firms coming and ruling us. We don't have individual attorneys like me and you. So please adopt this as your career. I tell you, this is cherishing career. You can just sit in your home and do this as your. You need any help, right? Again, I am telling you, I am there with you. I can just help you by giving you assignments. I can help you by giving you, examples. I can take you for practical filing. Your seniors are coming with me. The seniors are coming with me for filings. I told you, right, Sudarshan's this one. He's been filed by one of your senior. I cannot disclose. He's been filed by your senior, your good friend. Okay. We have trained. We trained her how to do that. She's doing it. She has done a very good draft. Yeah, we correct it. But see, this is how you earn. This is a nice option to you getting a certificate of internship of IP rights. Very nice. And you have elaborated career. Kindly go to the IP India website and check. You will get details. IP India is the website. You can go, you can check, you get the details about it. Okay? Yeah. We'll just come to the last session, very small session I have about cybercrime. And when it comes to IT Act, I have a notes, I'll give it to you. It's a very simplest act, just study the sections into it. IT Act says, and I'll just tell you about that slides, I'm not going to emphasize it here. IT Act is an act which says that there are these particular crimes. If you do this crime, what is the punishment? It's been there in IT Act. And again I'm telling you, I don't like to take that class because it's an outdated act. And I'll be very happy to come to you all one day when the Data Privacy Act is being launched by India. And I'll take a whole day session of Data Privacy Act. Because that's a wonderful, Data Protection Act. Okay? Data Protection Act. So, what is the Data Protection Act? I have told you. So please, someone who are very interested in doing some, synopsis, or someone who wants to write articles for, journals and all, take this topic. Take this topic. I can give you a topic right away. Comparison of Data Protection Act and the IT Act. Compare this act, write a paper, your paper will be wonderful. I can be the co-author if you want. I will be very happy to get an author badge here. Okay? I can be the co-author. Have this comparison between the IT Act present and the Data Privacy Bill. It is not yet in the Data Protection Bill, not yet an act. Or you can compare that into GDPR. So you will get this topic. Okay? Now this is all colorful slides. I have just copied the slides to say that this was my slide which I presented in my college. Okay? So all funny slides you will see. So I was very happy to copy that. I just copied that PDF and put it here. You can see the date also. It is Monday, September 24, 2012. So I presented that in my LLM. Okay. And my professor who was seeing this was Ravindra sir. So he was very happy and also told me to submit a clear paper. But I was very happy to present this. Because it took lots of struggle for me to prepare this slide. All this, you can just see Ashi handwriting. Yeah, so you all know what is cybercrime. I will not again tell it in detail. Cybercrime, we have told cybercrime are those which happens online. Cybercrime are those crimes where we all lose personally or professionally somewhat. Okay, so that is all about cybercrime. Cybercrime is a term usually brought up here. This is all. So any crime happening in the computers are called as cybercrime. There are some examples. What can happen? Pornography, threatening email, assuming someone's identity, sexual harassment, defaming, spam. Have you heard this word spam?
Yes.
Okay, one small question I have. Some legible mail also goes to spam. Correct? Some authorized mail also goes to spam. Can you tell me why?
Because some haters will mark it as spam. Usually you get the calls like Airtel, etc.
Yeah.
If you select an option that spam calls are not allowed, they are coming, it will be showing that.
Yeah, you are partly right, Suhas. You are partly right. I tell you what happens generally in this spam. Okay. First of all, unauthorized all mail goes to spam. This is very clear. Authorized mail also goes to spam because why there are some keywords which the government would have automated and said that these keywords will automatically go to spam. Okay. Try writing very harsh keyword in your email. Harsh keyword. And some keywords which are not allowed. Like presentation on Sexual Harassment Act 2010. And let it be your first email sending it to someone. It will go to the spam. Why? There are some keywords which is being marked by the government as unauthorized. Okay, so even those will go to the spam. So spam doesn't always mean crime. Okay, spam always doesn't mean wrong. Sometimes spam mails can be also right mail, just for your analysis. Now, what are the variants of cybercrime? Now, how happy we were. I tell you that this is the best one. I always say, if Ravindra sir was there, he will remember this. He will first say, "This presentation mat ivattu kuda." That's a wonderful thing. Yeah, hacking. Hacking I've already told you. Okay. So simple. Hacking means just write down. Okay. Just write down these terminologies. What are the cyber crimes? It is almost similar. Again, I tell you. In the cybercrime section, if they ask you types of cyber crimes, right, you can also add the types of attacks which you have written. Understand the first slide, second slide we told you types of attacks, malware, that and all. That also can be added here, okay? But these are the types of cyber crimes. First one is hacking, which entails cracking systems and gaining unauthorized access to the data stored in them. Some Facebook account, they automatically say, my data, my account is being hacked, right? So someone else is having control over your right. Second one, cyber squatting. Cyber squatting is an act of registering a famous domain name and then selling it for a fortune. One example. What can be cyber squatting? One example for cyber squatting, please. You know the domain name called as www.yahoo.com. Do you also know the domain name called as www.yahooindia.com? No? This is cyber squatting. Someone called as Yahoo India registered a famous domain name. Okay? Why? Because to cheat the consumers. We would have had account in Yahoo India. Okay? So Yahoo India, see, similar domain names, registering of similar kind of domain names, or registering of domain names will also mean that it is visibly similar or phonetically similar. Okay? That also. You have still more examples. Examples like www.arunjetli.com was also registered as Arun Jetli, but one more Arun Jetli was JIATELI. Authorized was JIATELY. Why? To cheat the consumers. Okay? So cyber squatting is simple. Cyber squatting is an offense in cybercrime in the IT Act. And where does the cybercrime is covered? Under the IT Act. Okay? So it is an offense under the IT Act, and cyber squatting is cheating of the domain name to confuse the consumers. Next one. Phishing. It is pronounced as phishing only, okay? But spelling is different. We may not have heard this word, but the details of this we have heard. Again, what does phishing mean? Cheating or playing with your, not phishing, okay? Or cheating or playing with your money. I send a message telling that you are the luckiest one selected from Coca-Cola company. You have won $100 million. Okay, kindly send your account number to get the details. Okay, that is phishing. Alright. So it's very clear the definition of phishing. Phishing is just one of the many frauds on the internet, trying to fool people into parting with their money. Phishing refers to the receipt of unsolicited emails by customers of financial institutions, requesting them to enter their username, password. Okay? That's why every bank has a tag. We generally don't call you for your username or password. If anyone calls you in our name, then please understand they are not authorized from us and we are not responsible for them. Okay? So this act of financial fraud happening to you is called as phishing. Cyber stalking. There is something called as cyber squatting. This is called as cyber stalking. Very simple, harassing someone, telling that I have your photo, okay, or please pay me this, I have your data. If you don't give me this, I leak this thing. Okay, and people, there are lots of it's not fun, but there are lots of suicides happening because of this. There are lots of crimes happening because of this. Because we are aware. Please understand, this is a crime. This is a crime under the IT Act. It is being barred under the Cyber Crime Department. Okay. So cyber stalking is one of the internet use of the internet for other electronic things to stalk someone. Stalk is not a good one. Okay, stalk means you harass, you threaten, you ill-treat. Okay, these all are the concept which comes under the concept of stalking. Alright? So may it be phone calls or leaving letters or writing an email, frauding. You might have known this, right? There is some email which comes to come. Generally we as companies we get it. We get an email telling that we have some of your important data. If you don't want us to leak this data, transfer the amount through bitcoins. Okay? Transfer the amount. Why they say transfer the amount through bitcoins? It can be tracked. Amount will be transferred. We transfer this much amount for 1 bitcoin or 2 bitcoin. We generally do that. But amount cannot be tracked to whom it has been got. Got it? So bitcoin is again one of the source where you can keep your amount, or where you can keep your finance very secure. Again, allowed or not depends on the country which has legalized it or not. But in India right now we don't have it. If you practically feel it, bitcoins has to be encashed. Right now bitcoins cannot be kept for your personal gain. This is my next slide. Wishing. See, we have all. It's not W, it is V. Okay. So just note down these types of crimes. This is the last one. Wishing. It's very simple. Again, these are frauds in the type of voice. Someone calling you, telling that we will immediately credit you this much of amount. You are the lucky draw winner. Kindly give us your card details. You give your card details. Kindly give your expiry date and the CVV number. Yes. You will immediately get an OTP, ma'am. Kindly give us this OTP. As soon as you give the OTP, your account will be deposited with the winning amount of 25,000. You give the OTP, vice versa happens. Your account is not debited, it is been fine. So this is called as wishing. Simple, you can write it in your own words. Just terminology you have to keep it in mind. All inking, phishing, cyber squatting, wishing. Okay. And you can also add the slides which we have taken in the first class. That also can be added as cyber crimes. Okay, just under IT Act I'll tell you offences. Under section 66, hacking with computer. And unfortunately, we don't have good punishment. You can just write down this. Section 66, chapter 11. Section 66, hacking with a computer. Whoever crosses it, the punishment is imprisonment up to 3 years or punishment of maximum punishment which might extend to 2 lakhs. This is where my critical analysis starts. I used to tell it from my college days. Even now I am just there. Because we haven't received only the relief again and again. I am telling that all of us might receive. You all are not in the wildest ever dream that how much of loss data we have already been done. Okay. So hopefully our people who are coming next to us, right, our children or our brothers and sisters, right, hopefully they would not face it. We really extent our data is being manipulated, to what extent your data is being. Ultimately, one day you will come to know when you get a call from someone telling that your mobile number which you are using is being used for this particular purpose. We are facing that. We generally do it. So always be very careful when you analyze. Be very careful when you distribute your data to some unauthorized agencies. Okay. So the punishment again is very small here. Next, whoever without your permission of the owner of the computer secures access. Okay, so it's very simple. So anyone without the access of the owner takes away data of one person shall pay compensation to the owner. See how sweet our act is. Our act doesn't say. Now if he has taken your photo, just analyze it. One person takes a photo of a lady from a Facebook profile, makes misuse of it, surrenders it somewhere else. What does our law say? Compensate. Wow, nice. Correct? Super things. But if we compare it to IPC, what's that really called as? It's a rape. Correct? If you really analyze a crime according to IT, if I am telling you in a different way, one person unnecessarily taking a photo of one person, and if you say, sir, no, I cannot take a photo, your profile is there for me. Your Facebook profile itself is enough. I can just take a photo and have some editing done in that and show it in a vulgar way and defame you, correct? Defamation, defame you. And what does IT Act say? What is the punishment? I am not collaborating CRPC into it, I am just telling IT Act. What does your IT Act say? Compensate that person. Done. Your crime is being settled off. If the owner is ready to take that compensation, your crime is. But what about that defamation he has done? If you take it to the real concept, that's a criminal offense. We don't have that. That's what I'm telling you. We are having a very poor IT Act, and unfortunately what happens, every complaint on the IT Act also is dealt by our normal judiciary, which should not happen. This should be your take of the time. I'm telling you, being as law students, right? This should be a take of the time. Telling that all IT crime should not be dealt as our normal judiciary. No, it is far more than that. One person commenting on any profiles is very vulgar, it's very bad. Any person doing unnecessary comment about our nation. There were many people who have done comment about our nation unnecessarily. People, there were recently incidents were happening. Some local election took place, people were shouting slogans over Pakistan. Right? People are knowing about it. It became very public. I think it was in Puttur itself. If you really term that incident, what happens? It becomes an act against your nation. So where are you put under? You are put under TADA. If I really analyze it, if I really analyze the whole situation, any person making that comment, you are booked under TADA. You are a terrorist. But here you go and publish something in your social media profile telling that India is bad, Hindustan aisa hai, Hindustan is that. Nothing happens. What? Compensate. Maximum to maximum what? Your account will be deactivated. Like our best person, Donald Trump. Just deactivation of account. That is the best ever punishment which anyone can give in IT Act. What else? You don't have anything in IT Act. Okay? This is where we feel very much bad to study. Whenever ma'am calls and says IT Act, I feel ma'am, I will not prepare slides on it because it doesn't serve justice. It doesn't serve justice to me and you. Especially when we are in this century, right? If someone has stolen your profile and killed you, in IP cyberspace, and you are being blamed, what is the necessary action? It says, or maximum up to 3 years. What you can do in this 3 years? Anyone doing hacking or deleting systems like that, what is the maximum punishment? 2 to 3 years. Okay? It's now if you compare that again, I'm very well known to compare situations. That's why I like interpretations. If you compare it, it is as equal as entering your house and stealing your gold or money. In real life, what are you called as? You are a robber. You are committed an offense called as robbery. You are stealing. But here, 2 to 3 years. Okay? This is our IT Act. I am not blaming friends, but I don't have any other ways. I cannot appreciate this act. I just have my only bad words to this act because I am in a professional way. I cannot use that bad words. But I can professionally use that bad words by telling that this is a very act. Okay, 66A and 66C are for punishments. I will not explain this. Okay.
So 66A repeal again.
Yes.
66A has been repealed by Supreme Court in 2006 November. But still the police authorities are registering FIR on that.
And that's what I'm telling you. What did I mean? In the previous,
Yes, 2 months
previous
back
class I told you.
faced that problem.
See, identity theft or anything happening to you, if you are going to a police station to register this complaint, number one fool is you who has gone to the police station, not the police.
I have went to the cyber police station manual itself.
Yes.
They have given me the endorsement under that section. And preferring me to go to the judiciary.
You will go to the judiciary under 66A,
Yes,
file a wakalatnama, case will be dismissed on the first day telling that this is the wrong act, come under the different act. What do you have an option? You go, repeal yourself and come back to the same code. The code doesn't have the, that's what I'm telling you, right? When it comes to IT, right, merging, unfortunately, I don't know how it can be phrased properly, but in the present world, merging IT and CRPC in all the situations is not necessarily required. Because CRPC is a calm act, especially in Indian penal code or in Indian way, right? IPC and CRPC is very calm. It's very easy to do. Ajmal Kasab also gets a biryani in India, right? Any person in other nation doesn't get. So merging IT Act, and I'm telling that IT crimes are far more serious than your real other crimes. IT crimes can make you bankrupt to us. In other ways, if you become bankrupt, you can recover. IT crimes, you don't have any option. You fill anything, your account has been stolen. What else option you have? You go to people blame you. You ask me the remedy, I don't have, sorry. Only the amendment which we are coming might be a remedy, that's it. That's what Indian government is working very well. If possible, right, students are very interested, please read it. It's a wonderful knowledge gainer for us. Okay? Yes, 66E, punishment of violation of privacy. God alone knows how many people have been executed under this. But 66E says about privacy punishment for violating the privacy. Anushka and Virat are separately in their house. People take that, oh, Anushka is expecting a girl baby, or they immediately do that. That is violating your privacy. Anushka made a statement right in public. Please leave me to live my life. Okay? So, now what else? Can they take actions against the media? No, because media is the fourth pillar. So again, so to what extent it has been executed, God alone knows, but still for your exams you have to write it. 66E is the punishment for violation of privacy. 67C is preservation and retention for information by intermediaries. Okay? It is the central government. Central government can preserve your information for certain durations if you have asked it for. Okay. How to tackle it, antivirus and anti-spy software. I have again told you, and we just had a discussion on firewalls. Firewalls are also, it's way to protect your computer. Again, that's it. It's just for the system. If you tell me your data, I cannot say that. Cryptography and cyber ethics and law. So we are criminals of all those things. So again, in a very short shell, I conclude this. So we have just learned about cyber crime, cyber law, and the IT Act. IT Act, again, detailed definition is there in your notes. And I will give the notes to ma'am. You can take a custody of it and you can